So this is the big one, the pigeon racing weekend I'd been waiting for. 2 races in one day, one with the Notts North Road Federation from Berwick, some 180 miles, the other with the North Road Championship Club from Dunbar in Scotland, which is just under 202 miles. It's the first time I've raced in a championship, and only having yearlings, I decided to send the best ones I had to that race. It's a gamble as to whether I'll get them back, as this year has proven quite a difficult one for returns for many fanciers. We're now heading off to Calverton, which is Nottingham, to the marking station for our 5 race birds. We've got 4 cocks, 1 hen, and we're going to send them now. It's 10 o'clock, we need to be there by past, and then the lorry will come and pick them up, the transporter, pick them up and then head on up to the other marking stations where we're picking up the rest of the birds on the way. Charlie's forgotten his hearing aids again. So, mowed the lawn, make it look nice. I've got the clocks ready, the pads ready. It's a bit fresh actually, there's more wind than we expected, so I don't know. Clocking with 2 antennae, that's all set up. Got a little bit of light feed ready for them, some seeds. Got the pads, I've kept these ones down just so that they can come through the middle, because that tends to work best. Most of them seem to be clocking through this one now anyway. I've got Ryan, not Brian, locked up ready, and I've got the fantail, the dropper, outside, so I'm going to use that one again because that seemed to work really well the last 2 races, I think it was, or at least definitely the last race anyway. So we'll see how we go. Really excited actually, because we're in the NRCC North Road Championship Club race today and Nottinghamshire North Road Federation race today, and then we've got Forest playing Arsenal later on, and my son is also playing in a football competition this afternoon. And once I've got the first few, I'm going to shoot off because I want to watch him play in his competition. 12. What time was it, Charlie, the birds? 9. Says it's no good talking from there, so get closer. What time was it that the birds? It was 9:30, wasn't it? For the 9:30 for the North Road Federation. 9:30 for North Road Federation, yeah. And 9:45 for the NRCC. So you reckon 3?
What wind did they give?
They said, I think they said a light southeast or a light southwest, turning northeast en route.
Yeah, right.
So I think, but looking at the clouds, see if I can hold this camera steady. It seems we debate the wind direction every weekend now and how much influence it has on the expected arrival time. Yeah. They are, aren't they? That's definitely easterly, Charlie. Isn't it? Because that's south. Definitely easterly. It's going to be blowing them inland. Yeah. I don't know if that suits us or not. Just excited to be involved in it, really, aren't we? So, right. So I'm going to get the clock set up, ready. You wish you'd been sending. It's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. When it's not always weather like this, is it, Charlie? So, right. So I've got the fantail over here. There she is, and she's. I haven't fed her today, so I'm hoping that she'll go straight in there because she's hungry. And we'll probably expect to see the birds come out over that way because the wind, the liberation site is that way. If you went directly, 202 miles. I got it wrong before. It's 202 miles that way, and then 181 or 180 miles for the Berwick, which is the North Road Federation race. And we imagine that they'll get blown inland. And they'll come from over that direction, but if they get pulled over too far, they'll start to come over from that direction. So anything over there is good, anything over there is not good. So we're going to set the camera up now and see how they come in. It's exciting, this is. It said it was going to be 6 mile an hour wind. It's a lot more than that. Within half an hour, the wind had unexpectedly picked up. It was going to be 6, but it's a lot faster than that, isn't it? I'll get that fantail ready, shall I? It's 12:39 now. 12:39 then, Charlie. What's that time? He's forgot his hearing aids. There's a fantail. I stood here last week for about half an hour with the cameras and fantail ready, the dropper ready, and the batteries were going flat because I was expecting them to come and they were so slow. Whereas every other week we've raced, they've caught me out. I've just pressed record and then they've arrived. So looking forward to your football match, your tournament. I mean, it's beautiful, but I am nervous as. I shouldn't have worried about nerves. The white dropper and I had been practicing religiously so that when the first bird arrived, she would fly straight onto the landing board to help guide the winner in. 12:46. I mean, I just hope we get them back.
That's more than 6 miles an hour, that wind.
It is, isn't it? You can't have biscuits, can you? Or can you? Do you want a biscuit?
No, you're alright.
21 mile an hour.
21, eh?
Northeast. It feels blowy, yeah. They should have been here by now then.
Be downdoors as soon as they don't want.
Yeah. They've got to try and cut across, and last time it was like this, we had a nightmare. We had a nightmare. I think they've been blown over the other side of the country, I do. Maybe not struck. Well, you think it's too light?
Eh?
Think it's too light?
I think it's too late.
It could be. Everyone else is saying put more barley in it.
Here's one.
Oh, excellent.
And just then we sprang into action.
Where is it? Come on. Oh no, she's got my bloody way. What are you doing? That didn't work. See you later, Fantail.
So our first bird back was from the Berwick race, but he was well off the pace from the rest of the birds in the club and the federation for that matter.
4:9:30. Tim, go clip another feather off this. Yeah. Here's one. You ready? Yep. Come on. Come on. Yeah. That's a hen. Come on. So basically we're miles behind on the knots fed race, I think, so far. But if we get a bird from Dunbar, then in the next 5 minutes, then we still might be in with a decent time, but we're so far behind. We've had one bird and that was nearly 20 minutes ago. So not a brilliant race really. The amount of east in the wind is I wasn't expecting. It's moderate on the weather report. It was meant to be like 6 or 7 miles per hour. It's gone up to 21 that we saw, and that picked up pretty much an hour after the race started. So I think they've all been blown way inland. I just hope that we get them back because it is the longest distance they've done by a fair whack. But yeah, so we'll keep recording and we'll just see what happens. But I would like more than one bird back.
So the funniest thing actually happened. That race was a few weeks ago, and we were nowhere
in the club race, and it was quite obvious when the birds came back that we were way behind. And then I had the cameras set up, the GoPro up on top, or the DJI on top of the loft, and a few other cameras knocking around, and I had to constantly keep going and turning them off and turning them on again when I thought that the birds were going to come back. And it looked like the birds from Dunbar, the 5 birds from Dunbar, were going to be even further behind, because they were over half an hour later, even though they were liberated 15 minutes apart and only 20 miles. I can't remember what the time was actually, but anyway, it felt like it was going to be a long time and a slow pace. So I turned the cameras off and just sat and I watched the first 2 come in, and then I had to go because I wanted to watch Archie play his tournament, and I was expecting the birds to be back by 1, and nearly 2 o'clock had arrived, and or by nearly 2 o'clock we'd still hardly had any, so it didn't look great. Turns out we won the section. We topped the section, section B, which was brilliant. So I wasn't expecting that at all. But it does mean that I didn't get the footage of the birds coming in because I assumed we were so far behind, and I wanted to go and watch Archie play his tournament. There we are. There's a lesson for you, and I think I'll go into a bit of detail in this next video coming up as to why that I think that is why that happened. But yeah, it should all be on that next one. It was a strange old day because we were nowhere in the club federation race, and then there the young birds now. Look, obviously it's really hot, so I've got the pool out, so we're going to be lounging this afternoon. Here we go. Look, if we can get them flying by. There we go. There's the class of 23. So yeah, as I was saying, brilliant result. We ended up topping the section for the NRCC, and there was a write-up in the paper about that, which I'm really happy about. So obviously, because I topped the section, that meant I get a massive cheque with prize money. I think I bet the total cost of entering 5 birds with nominations was £52, I think, and it ended up costing me £7 and 2 pigeons. Because 2 of them didn't come back, 1983 and 2011, which were both decent birds. But we got some prize money. Not a huge amount really, I think it was about 40 something quid, which are £22 for one bird and 18 or 19 pounds for the other bird. So not brilliant prize money, and I think the winner only got 400 quid, which is, I don't know, I feel like that could be better. I don't know if anybody else agrees. I know some people do want more prize money. I'm one of them. I think it's nice to know that you put all this effort into potentially getting something back out of it, but you do it for the fun of it as well, so it's not a major thing, but I think it could definitely entice more people to send more birds. But yeah, it was quite nice, quite a nice surprise. See if we can go and catch it. I'll come out. I'm going to go and get 1998, which is the bird that topped the section in the NRCC. What are you doing up there, you two? It's you, isn't it? Don't want to damage you, mate. You're my prize bird. He's got right between my legs. Right, this is he. Is the sound still on? Is the bar working on the side? Yeah. So this is a young bird. I got this one from Dave Evans, and as a young bird, he came 3rd in the first ever race. I think there were 1,500 birds in that federation race, and then in the final race of the year, he came 3rd again, but he dropped with the 1st and 2nd. So all 3 of them dropped together, and it just so happened that Darlow 94 won that one. And then now, really sore throat. And then since then, he's always been all right, but he's never won it. And then yeah, he came first back by 22 minutes. Feels like a nice big packet of muscle, don't you, buddy? But I haven't sent him to many races since because, well, no, I did send him. I sent him last week, and I think he was my first bird back. So he's definitely. You're definitely top dog now, aren't you? Especially since 2011 and 2012 and 1983 have disappeared. But yeah, he just feels nice. Some of the others feel a little bit weak. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I can hold him in, not squeeze him, but you know. So yeah, nice little blue bar. 1998. So we're going to send you to 1 or 2 more races this year, aren't we? And then we'll put you away for next year as a 2-year-old. There we go. I'll let him go back in, but yeah, it's nice, isn't he? From the same loft as Darlow 94, the one that topped it.
Yeah.
But there we go. Right, let's get you back in. Oh, I didn't. When we took a photo of him the other day for the NRCC write-up in the Homing World, I described him as a Czech bird, just not as a blue bar. So I don't know if anybody will notice that, but.
With an ever-dwindling number of birds on the team, from now on I'll have to choose the races to maximise returns. Otherwise, my season will be over way too soon.
That's it.